How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much. I always appreciate you. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to my sixth classic horror movie review of October 2024. This is my review of a true cult classic and a movie that is very near and dear to my heart, a film that came out in 1990, Tremors. This movie was directed by Ron Underwood. This was his first film. He would go on to direct 1991's City Slickers, one of my all-time favorite comedies. He also directed the Michael Keaton, Gina Davis, Christopher Reeve film from 1994, Speechless, Mighty Joe Young, the 1998 remake of the 1949 RKO classic, and then unfortunately, The Adventures of Pluto Nash, which I will never talk about. Tremors is extremely fun and one of the most rewatchable movies I've ever seen in my life. I watch this movie every year, every October. It's kind of a tradition with me because I grew up watching this thing since I was little. I remember going to see this in the theater when I was 6 years old with my mom and older sister. But because I was such a little guy that was, kind of a puss at the time, I couldn't handle the first 15, 20 minutes when, the graboids began to appear. And so my mom took me in the auditorium next door and we watched Look Who's Talking. I remember as a little kid sitting in that theater watching Look Who's Talking and really enjoying the movie, but I also remember thinking, I'm a little worried for my sister and they're watching this scary movie all by herself. And then after we got out of the movie and started talking to my sister about Tremors, she enjoyed it so much that she would talk about it and kind of made me want to watch it and give it another chance. So I remember when it came out on video and on cable, I had to check this thing out again just to kind of face that fear. I still remember the feeling that I had the first time I got the courage to sit down and watch this in its entirety without walking out of the room. And when it was over, I felt like I had just gotten off of a roller coaster ride. It was kind of a milestone for me because even though it was a PG-13 horror comedy, it was still a big deal for me because, I was such a chicken shit. I couldn't handle things like the first Child's Play or even Gremlins, or I even remember watching the Incredible Hulk TV show and being freaked out when Bill Bixby would turn into Lou Ferrigno, all green and scary and stuff. So, as a little kid, I was pretty easy to scare. I couldn't even handle the transformation of Michael J. Fox as a werewolf in Teen Wolf at that time. And so, yeah, Tremors, huge milestone. And if it wasn't for Tremors, I don't think that I would have been able to handle Child's Play 2, which came out later that year. So, yeah, 1990, big, big year for me. So in this film, Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward play Val and Earl. Kevin Bacon is Val, Fred Ward is Earl. They both are handymen in a little town called Perfection in Nevada, which has a population of about 14 people. Throughout the beginning and all throughout the first act, this movie does a very good job of teasing the monster to the audience and making us aware that there is a huge threat to this little town, this small population of people. And the people in this movie and the town itself are very fun to hang out with. There are so many quotable lines in this movie, it's insane. There are so many scenes that are actually quotable to me. Eggs. I did eggs. Over easy. The hell you did! Baloney and Baines, it's your turn! No way! No way, man! To this day, the special effects they use to bring these creatures to life in this film are insanely well done. For 1990, this movie holds up beautifully in terms of the special effects, the practical effects, the makeup, and even some optical work in there, I'm sure. The movie isn't too violent or too gory, but when the underground monsters do take down innocent people, it is very effective and even a little bit creepy. Every now and then, it pushes those boundaries of what they can do with a PG-13 monster movie, which is always a lot of fun when you're a young person trying to test your limits. I think the secret sauce of what makes this movie so damn lovable is our two main characters, Val and Earl. Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward are so much fun to watch in this movie as a couple of friends that give each other a hard time every now and then when they're stuck on top of a rock or on a roof of a building or trying to figure out how they're going to get out of a situation. You're just hanging off their every word because you want to find out what they're going to come up with next. And yeah, it's just a very well written script and so many fun characters. By 1990, Kevin Bacon was already a pretty big star after starring in movies like Footloose. He appeared in Diner, and there was She's Having My Baby, Quicksilver, Whitewater Summer, and Fred Ward had starred in Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins in 1985, which is a cult classic that will eventually make its way onto this channel in a review. You also have The Right Stuff that he was in 1983. He was one of the astronauts in that film. He also had a small part in 1979's Escape from Alcatraz as one of the guys Clint Eastwood escapes with. In interviews, Kevin Bacon has gone on record saying that he wasn't sure about this movie when he was making it, and when it came out, he thought it would be a career killer. But when it came out, even though it was a box office flop, it had a big big blow up on video, and many people got to watching it and ultimately became the cult classic that it is today. And it's one of his best movies of all time. It's really one of the great monster movies of the 1990s. The late great Fred Ward, who did a great job playing the role of Earl in this movie, went on to do many supporting roles and was pretty much kind of a character actor, but he stayed pretty relevant in terms of showing up in all kinds of movies and TV shows throughout the 90s and 2000s. I remember he popped up in a movie called Chain Reaction with Keanu Reeves and Andrew Davis, movie from '96, and he was also in Joe Dirt playing Joe Dirt's dad. He ended up coming back for Tremors 2 Aftershock, the straight-to-video sequel, which is actually really good. I always thought that movie should have been released in theaters because it does have some kind of straight-to-video qualities, but it also feels pretty theatrical at times, and very fun movie also. So yeah, he kind of holds it down in that one because Kevin Bacon doesn't show up in it, but Fred Ward was awesome in it. And of course, I got to mention the MVP of this movie, the character of Burt Gummer, who would go on to be the star of all the straight-to-video sequels, starting with the third film, Back to Perfection. And his wife in the film, Reba McEntire's character, is a lot of fun as well. She's a pretty damn good actress in this movie, by the way. But it definitely feels like Michael Gross, who in the 1980s was the head of the Keaton household, one of America's dads in Family Ties, one of the shows that I grew up watching. He is so much damn fun in this movie. He's so funny, and he's kind of channeling a bit of Don Knotts as Barney Fife from the Andy Griffith Show in this role, I think. Kevin Bacon was awesome in this. Fred Ward is terrific in the film. The two of these guys together are hilarious. 1990s Tremors is a 4-star creature feature. I love the cover of this movie too. I always thought this was a really awesome poster. I remember back in the day walking the halls of the theater and seeing this poster on the walls and thinking, what the hell is that? I'm not watching that, because I was too little to even care to be scared at that time. But now I like being scared. Fun and scary, funny and scary, always a great package. And so yeah, 1990s Tremors, you can't go wrong, especially for October. I very much appreciate you guys watching. If you're into movies, if you're new to the channel, if you're into classics, hit the bell, become a subscriber. Please don't forget to comment, share, like. And it being October, I'm going to be talking horror movies all month long, all the way till the end of the month, because it's my favorite time of year. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. If you continue to watch these videos, I very much appreciate it. Everybody take care of each other. Peace out. Till next time, take care and God bless.